I lost a lot to get it satisfied. Yeah. Get it hot. Lost a lot to get it satisfied. Yeah. Get it hot. All my brothers real, they riding with me. All my brothers real, they dying with me.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel. It's Kimerayvonne, and today we're finally going to be talking about everything that I wish I knew before I bought a puppy. I've literally filmed this video 3 times now and hated it. Every single time that I filmed it, I either don't like the lighting, the background, or I simply just feel like I've left out plenty of key information. So hopefully today I am satisfied with the video, and I just don't want you guys to think that I forgot about you. And making this video, I have just been trying to perfect it and make sure that I tell you guys everything that I wish I knew before I got a puppy. So I have a long list of notes on my phone full of things that I want to tell you guys. So let's go ahead and get started. Before we get into the tips, I want to tell you guys a little bit about my puppy because I did have a couple of questions about her. So I want to address that before we get into the video. So I have an 8-month-old Bichon puppy, or Pouchon. It has a lot of different names, but she is a Bichon and a poodle, and she's only 9.3 pounds right now at 8 months, which is really tiny. So I'm not sure if she's even going to get to 10 pounds, but her name is Carson Dior. She's been featured on my channel a couple times in my videos, so that's where you guys got to see her. And of course I got so many questions about her. So yes, she's a Bichon and a poodle, and her color is called apricot, which is very, very popular. It is that chicken wing, that's what a lot of people compare it to, a chicken wing, or that really dark brown color. That is her color. I purchased her from Lancaster Puppies, and I also looked on Greenfield Puppies, and she was $800. She was actually the cheapest puppy that they had, and I felt like, well, not the cheapest that I saw for her breed was $600, but they were white. Her color and the darkness of her fur, that was the cheapest I could find, was $800, and I wanted to go get her immediately because she was the darkest one that I found. So I found her on Lancaster Puppies. I had been looking for puppies, and I had so many that I was looking at. I was calling different breeders, asking questions, wanting to see more pictures of them, and then I came across this little dark colored puppy named Patty. They called her Patty, and I was like, oh my god, she was the darkest puppy that I found, but I loved how dark her fur was, and I just had to go get her. Hold up. Let me scoot back so you guys can see my whole shirt. Okay. But yeah, she was the darkest puppy that I saw, and I fell in love with her. So I called the number on the website, and her breeder turned out to be Amish. None of the other breeders that I had spoken to were Amish. So I called him on the phone, and I was like, hey, can you send me some more pictures of her? I'm really interested in this puppy. And he's like, oh no, I can't send you any more pictures. You're gonna have to wait until the photographer comes. And I'm like, that's weird. Like, most of the other breeders just snap me a picture with their phone, but he couldn't do that because he was Amish, but I did not put that together. So I was like, okay, well, I'm really interested in this puppy. Can we set up a time where I can come and see her? And he was like, yeah, well, she's the last puppy out of 3. She had 2 other siblings, and she was the last puppy. And he was like, she's gonna be gone by tomorrow if you don't come and get her. So I was like, you know what, I want her. This is the puppy that I want. She's so cute, she's so dark, she's perfect. I want her. So we drove to Lancaster, Pennsylvania on my birthday, December 24th, to go and pick her up, and I fell in love with her. Yeah, so it was a really good experience. But looking back on it, I would say that I feel like she was the last puppy because she's super duper crazy. I don't know, but despite her being the last puppy, we went to go see her, fell in love with her, and the rest is history. One of the main questions that I get is about, like, where did you find your puppy and how much was she? So like I said, I found her on Lancaster Puppies, and she was only $800. Now guys, now that we've been in the house and everybody wants a puppy, the price for the Bichon Poodle mix is starting at $1,200 from what I've seen online, because so many people have been asking me and I try to help. The prices have definitely gone up, and I chose to get a Bichon and a Poodle puppy because they're super cute, super adorable. She looks like a little teddy bear, and she's also hypoallergenic. She's going to stay small. I love the qualities of a Poodle and a Bichon when you put them together. A lot of people say that she has qualities of a Bichon and a Poodle. She's super sassy, but she's also very smart, so watch out for that in the vlog. I'm going to be making a vlog of our day, and that'll be posted after this video. So if you guys want to see a day in our life, please come back and watch that video. But yeah, she's super sassy but very, very smart. So that's why I picked a Poodle and a Bichon. I was also looking at Cavapoos, which are the Cabochons and the Poodles, but they're a lot more expensive. They are very easily over $1,000. You probably won't find one for under $1,000. And I was like, no, I'm sorry. And Cavapoos also do get a little bit bigger than Bichons, but the breeder told us that she'll be below 10 pounds, and that has so far been very true. She's 8 months and she's not even 10 pounds yet, so I think she's gonna stay really tiny, but she's very long and tall, so it looks kind of deceiving, but my baby is only 9'3". I think that's everything that I wanted to say before we got into the video. So now on to my tips for what I wish I knew before I bought this puppy. So I bought her on a whim. I was not expecting to pick her up so soon or any of that stuff, so I had just grabbed little things that I could find as quickly as possible without really having much time to prepare. But I will say ahead of time, I had spent weeks watching YouTube videos about puppy training, what to expect with your puppy, so many different YouTube videos, so that I would have some sort of idea what I was getting myself into, because I've never had a dog before and I don't know anybody who's really had a puppy. So I had no idea what to expect, and the videos gave me really, really good tips for training, crate training, everything that I needed to know for when I brought her home. I got it all from YouTube, and I used those videos still today. Everything that they have taught me about discipline, crate training, and just teaching her how to be a strong dog, I got most of it from YouTube. So I would say utilize YouTube and Google to do plenty of research before you get your puppy, so that you know what you want to do and what you don't want to do, because by the time that dog gets home, you better know. You have to know. You can't switch stuff up too much with them. They need a routine and they need structure. So if you're gonna want to crate train your dog, you need to know that ahead of time. Don't get them and then start crate training 2 months later, because it might be a little bit more difficult. It's not impossible, but it's easier to know everything that you want to do from the jump, so that when you get the dog, you are set and you know exactly what you want to do. So to go off of that, I want to say start training your dog as soon as you get home. And training means little things like crate training. You need to pick out a very, very structured schedule for your puppy. I picked out my puppy schedule from Pinterest. They have a lot of good ideas for you to follow about when it's time to get them up, when it's time to give them breakfast, outside, crate. You know, a really good routine to get your puppy to know this is how you want them to behave. You need that structure, so you have to start training as soon as possible. I started crate training the first night we got home, and by day 3 she was no longer crying in the crate. So I know a lot of people who have now gotten puppies and had issues with crate training. That was very simple for me because I started it from the beginning, but there were other things that came a little bit more difficult to her, like potty training. We still use potty pads. I had them all over the place, but she was having little accidents everywhere in the beginning, which is very normal because they can't hold their bladder. But it took her about 2 to 3 months to understand where to go potty in the house, and eventually as she got older it got easier, and now she only has 1 potty pad in the house for when she absolutely needs it, and the rest of the time we're outside. So that is just an example of starting training early with her so that she understands exactly what I want her to do, and there isn't much room for mistakes. Back to researching. When you research, guys, you're gonna know exactly what you want to do, and nobody can tell you any differently, because honestly when you have a puppy, it is just like having a baby. It is very, it's it's exactly the same. If you ask me, I'm also a nanny, so I'm with kids all day, and I feel like having a puppy is just like having a 6-month-old baby. You have to make responsible decisions for your puppy, and if you don't know something, somebody will be able to persuade your decision. So if you walk into Petco and they're like, what food do you want to get your puppy, and you're like, oh, I don't know, then they're gonna be like, oh, Blue Buffalo is the best for X, Y, and Z, but you might not know Blue Buffalo is bad for these reasons. So that's why it's good for you to do your own research so that you can have your own opinions that you form before you go out and allow somebody else to persuade your own opinions, because you have to do what you feel like is going to be best for your dog. And that even means when you go to the vet, if the vet is telling you you need to do this or you need to do that, don't be afraid to second guess their opinion, because at the end of the day, you know what is best for your dogs. Like when I first got her, they recommended Royal Canin food for us, and I was like, I don't know, like I want her to be eating grain free, I want her to be eating a healthier food, I'm not really sure. And I ended up buying her the healthier food. I bought her Wellness Core and she hated it, so I was like, maybe the vet was right, doubting myself, and I ended up getting the Royal Canin, which is okay. She still hates it, but the ingredients are horrendous. The food is almost $50 and the ingredients are straight crap, and that is what a vet recommended for me to feed my puppy. So that just goes to show you that you have to form your own opinions, because the vets, they're just here to get your money. So you have to know what's best for you and your puppy so that other people won't be able to change your mind. The next thing that I want to talk about is puppy insurance. A couple of weeks, well, literally a couple days after we picked up Carson, she had worms in her poop. For my mom and I, this was the most terrifying thing in the world, because this was our first dog. She's so little, literally 3 pounds at this point, and I just am freaking out. I don't know if it's hurting her. I have never heard of worms, and they're living, they're crawling, and I'm just scared that she's in pain. So I start calling all the vets and trying to figure out what I can do to get her seen. And I also called the breeder. He told us that she had been dewormed and that she had gotten all her shots, and he was like, you know, if the worms look like this, then tell them to give her this medicine and I will pay the remaining difference. And I said, okay. But then I'm like, hold on, you're Amish, so that means I'm gonna have to mail you the check and mail you this. That's just too much. But that's not really important. But I wish he could have just cashed out me. That would have been easier. But it wasn't really important to me at that point. I was willing to pay whatever to make sure that she was okay. So I ended up signing her up for Banfield, which is the vet that they have at Petco, and it has so far been the worst decision I have ever made while being a puppy parent. I say this because it is highway robbery. You spend $50 a month and literally nothing is covered in their wellness plan, and they sell it to you like it's an insurance, but no, it's really a wellness plan. So all that's really covered are checkups, deworming, and a few other minute things. But if your dog is injured or sick or even has an ear infection, you're going to be coming out of pocket for all of those things. So you're paying $50 a month already, which is very expensive. Other dog insurances are, I would say, $30 to $40, and they cover so much more. So $50 is ridiculous already, and then you're gonna have to pay for medications and any other thing that they try and rack up. So I bought it on a whim because I really just wanted her to get seen, and it sounds like a really good thing, you know, $50 a month for your puppy to make sure that she's healthy. That sounds great. So bought her in, and they paid to do the deworming test, and all I had to pay for was the medicine. I was very satisfied with them at that point, but in the following months I started to feel like I was just being scammed. She got an ear infection after her first time being groomed. I took her up there, and that was $117 that I had to pay to one. It was about $50 to test the wax in her ear. That was $50. And then the medicine to treat the ear infection was $63, I believe. And then they plucked the hair in her ears for $27. $27. I felt so robbed after that. I was very, very upset leaving that place because they took advantage of me like most vets do. But now I know better. It was only $117, whatever. So after that, I was very upset, and I began began looking at other insurances for her. Me and my mom were ready to switch her to either like a real insurance, like State Farm, Geico, something that actually has some credibility to it, because Banfield isn't doing it. And then we had another instance where Carson had extra teeth, extra baby teeth that didn't fall out with the rest, which is really common for little dogs. So I took her in there and I was like, you know, can you guys look at her teeth? Do they need to be pulled? These jokers called me on the phone saying it's going to be $600 to pull the teeth from her mouth. And that was only for 1 out of 3 teeth. I said, excuse me, $600? She said, yeah, ma'am, it's going to be $600. Do you want to do a payment plan? I said, no, you're not touching her. I'm not paying $600 when I could do it at home. Well, not do it at home, but I'm not paying $600 for that. So after that, I was like, I'm done. I'm done. And they were still taking my money during Corona. I can't even take my dog to the vet, so why am I still paying my money? It was just so much stuff happening, and I wanted to cancel so bad. So we did not get her teeth pulled, and at this point she was 7 months, so the teeth ended up falling out anyway. She didn't even need to have them pulled, and I feel like they knew that they were going to fall out, but they wanted to hurry up and get my money, which is just wrong all around. So be careful for insurance scams and really pay attention to what you're getting yourself into, because I am stuck in this Banfield contract for a year and I cannot get out of it, but I'm just not gonna pay for it, so the joke's on them. But please be careful, guys, and don't get scammed like I did. Next tip is that you need to have a lot of patience, especially during the first couple months. When I bought Carson home, she was 2 months, and I would say the first 3 were absolute hell. The first 2 weeks, I was waking up at 5 a.m. every morning, having to follow behind everywhere that she went because she could pee so quick. And with little dogs, it's very difficult to tell if they're just standing up or peeing because their legs are so little and so cute. So she could literally pee in 2 seconds and you'll have no idea. And with dogs, you have to catch them as they're peeing. You can't discipline them after the fact. So I will always be chasing after her, always cleaning up after her. She has destroyed so many of my things just from me not really paying attention to her. She's eaten AirPods, she's eaten so many of my clothes. She eats a lot of different stuff that she has no business eating, but I have really just had to become very patient with her because she is just like a baby and she is learning. So I try to be patient and make her understand this is the way that you behave, this is what I expect from you, and this is how I don't want you to behave. But puppies will be puppies. They're gonna do what they want to do, and you just have to keep redirecting them until they learn. Along with having patience, you need to have a lot of time at home and help. Help has probably been the #1 thing that has gotten me through these 8 months. Without having help and people wanting to take her and people watching her, I probably would have gone crazy by now, because just like moms and dads, you need a break. You're gonna need a break. You will be exhausted. You will get tired of cleaning up pee. I get so tired of shouting. Like, I just get so tired of being tired that I need somebody to take her for a couple hours, or shoot, a couple days. Just take her so that I can get some time to regroup, because with puppies it's very easy to become frustrated, and when you're frustrated you might take out a little bit more anger on them than you want to. So just take a break. When you have plenty of time at home, you'll be able to bond with your puppy and really create that close relationship. The first couple of months, honestly, they're gonna need you a lot. The most that I ever left Carson the first couple months was 2 hours. I didn't want to be away from her that long because she's so little. Like, they need you around so much to do so many things for them and just to feel comforted, period, because they're in a different environment, they're in a new place, and you may be well acquainted to this home, but you have to remember that they're not. So you just want to be there for them and be loving on them as much as you possibly can, because the first couple weeks are crucial in discipline and them learning, and you want to be there for every single second of it. Another very important thing that I've had to learn during these 8 months is that every puppy is different and you cannot compare one puppy to another puppy. Like, Carson's absolutely crazy. She is a Tasmanian devil. She is sassy. She's a lot. She's a handful, but she's so super loving and so super affectionate. But on the other hand, my little niecey poo, Gia, she acts the total opposite. She's a lot more mature. She's not as hyper as Carson. She's picking up things at different paces. They just do different things at different times. Every puppy has their own little personality and they're going to learn different things at different times. So you can't say like, oh, so-and-so's puppy was potty trained at 3 months. What's wrong with my dog? You have to know that every dog is different, and especially every breed is different. So do plenty of research about the breed that you're interested in, because I did not know how hyper poodles were known to be until now I have my own and I'm dealing with that, but it's okay. I love my babies so much. The next tip that I have for you guys is about saving money and different places to get different puppy items. If you guys want me to do like a must-have puppy items, please let me know, because I will do a separate video on that. But a lot of the things that I did initially buy for my puppy were either from the Dollar Tree, Walmart, or Petsmart. Those are my favorite stores to shop for her, because Walmart is very inexpensive, like we know. I'll go to Target if I want something cuter for her, but Walmart is always a go-to. Dollar Tree, you can never go wrong. Everything is $1. They have a lot of great toys there that I wouldn't mind her ripping up and tearing up. Like, you don't really want to spend $10 on a plush bear that's going to be ripped up in a week versus spending $1 on it. You're not really going to care, and it's going to be easier to replace it. And then PetSmart, I prefer PetSmart to Petco because they are a lot more inexpensive, and PetSmart always has sales. I'm somebody who shops for Carson a lot. I'm always shopping for her, buying different stuff for her, and PetSmart has been amazing. They always have really good deals. They always have super cute stuff that's on sale. I don't want to tell you guys what's on sale this month because that just shows how invested I am in buying stuff for her, but I'll just tell you. So like the treats this month are buy 3 get 1 free. They have BOGO on a lot of things this month, and they have a point system. I know Petco has a point system too, but I don't really pay attention to them. But I like PetSmart's perk system because it translates into money. So right now I have about $5 in rewards that I've built up over time, and it's just really useful to have things like that. So even though I don't like Banfield at PetSmart, I love PetSmart to buy different things for Carson. My next tip for you guys is to track your puppy's growth. One thing that I really wish that I did for Carson was to take pictures of her in the same spot every single week so that I could see how much she grows and how much she's changed, because now she's such a big girl and I can't really tell how much she's grown because I'm with her every day, but when I look back at pictures, and I can really see how much she's changed. So I really encourage you guys to track your puppy's growth in some sort of way, because they're only small for about 2 months and then they're gonna explode. They're gonna explode. So cherish the time that you have with them while they're little. Cuddle with them as much as they can, as much as you can, because once they're big, you're not gonna be able to get that time back at all. So cherish it. This is probably the #1 tip that I wish somebody would have told me, and it is to create boundaries with your puppy. I'm not saying that there is anything wrong with having a super spoiled puppy or a super attached puppy, because that is Carson to a T. She follows me everywhere. She cries when I leave, like screams when I leave. She follows me in the bathroom. She comes in the shower with me sometimes. She has to be attached to me. She has to be up under me. She has to be breathing my air, or she's going crazy. So I did that. That is my fault. It's so my fault because I did not create boundaries with her. I was so upset. Well, I am so obsessed with her, but I was so happy to finally have a puppy that I kept her with me every single second. Like, the only time she was ever away from me was probably a couple hours in her crate and overnight, of course, even though some nights she would sleep with me. But there wasn't a lot of time where we would be apart, and through that, she has become so attached to me, and she's also very spoiled. So to try and combat that, I have decided to get her a puppy playpen, and it has helped me tremendously. She can spend as much time as possible in her playpen because she has food, water, toys, a bed, everything that she needs in there, and she's learning to be okay without me being in her presence every second. So it is very important that you create puppy boundaries with your puppy so that they know they can be okay on their own. They don't have to be with you every second, because once you start something, you're stuck. And that's my very last tip. To be careful of the patterns that you create with them, because once you start, it's gonna be very hard to break it. Be careful of the habits that you are creating in your puppy's life, because the habits will become what they do every single day. So if you are consistently rubbing their belly, that's what they're gonna want all the time. If you allow them to jump on you, that's what they're gonna want. If you allow them to bark at you to get their way, that's what they're gonna do. So you really have to discipline them early to say, this is how I want you to behave, this is how I don't want you to behave. Because if you don't, those small little habits that may be cute in the beginning will be set in stone. For example, when Carson was younger, we would get so excited when we came in the house to see her, and she would get super excited too. You know, I miss you so much, all of the jumping, kissing, hugging. And now that she's bigger, she gets so excited when she sees new people or even us, and it's very hard to calm her down and get her to relax. That is almost annoying. So we are now trying to break that habit and train her to be a lot calmer around new people and just relax sometimes. But that is a habit that we created, and we let her know that that was okay by reinforcing that habit and allowing her to do it. And now it is something that we are struggling, well, I'm struggling to break with her. So that's just an example of a habit that I wish I never started. But you know, we learn. That's probably the biggest thing that I am dealing with her right now, because she's potty trained. Everything else is great, but that is the main habit that I feel like I really need to break. Your puppy's socialization and their developmental milestones are very important, so please follow it. Know, like, if your puppy's turning 4 months, what can you expect in that month, what's going to be happening for them, just like a baby. Because if you don't understand what's happening for them developmentally, whatever, you might be missing something. So, like, if they're saying that at this point your puppy's behaviors are set in stone at 7 months, I believe, 7 or 8 months, they're pretty much set in their ways. So if you don't know that, and your puppy's still acting a buck wild fool at 7 months when you should have been having them in obedience training, that's something that you really have to pay attention to. You really want to know, like, when their hormones are coming into play, because knowing their developmental stages will really help for you to understand why they're behaving the way that they do. Like with Carson, I experienced a lot of progression and then regression, and I was really struggling to understand, like, why she's still having accidents, or why is she doing this if we learned that that wasn't okay behavior. And it's that puppies may regress when they hit this age or that age. So it's been very helpful for me to know what to expect every single month of her life. I need to look up what to expect in the puppy's 8th month, because she just turned 8 months. I've been doing it every single month, and it's been very helpful for me to just research and know as much as possible, because I am her main trainer. She has another trainer that she goes and sees, but ultimately I am her owner. I need to know everything that I can to help her, so that when she gets older, she is well-rounded and knows how to behave herself, because I don't want to have a crazy dog. So yeah. Well, those are all of the tips that I have for you guys. Stay tuned for the day in the life of Kimerayvonne and Carson Dior, and let me know if you guys want a puppy must-haves video, because I will definitely get that out for you guys. And let me know if you guys have any questions or comments or any tips that you guys have for people that are interested in getting a puppy, because anything can honestly help. So put it in the comments down below and I'll make sure to respond to it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.
Lost a lot to get inside this spot. Yeah, all my brothers real, they riding with me. All my brothers real, they dying with me. Yeah.